Good morning from Nova Scotia, Canada. This is a day back in March. I decided to order some seeds from Baker's Creek. I generally stick with all Canadian companies. Actually, I try to stick with maritime companies. But there is a few varieties of peppers that I couldn't really find available in Nova Scotia or Canada unless they were quite expensive. So I decided to treat myself and buy some different seeds from Baker's Creek. So I went with 3 varieties of peppers this year. The first variety here is I think it's called Craig's Grande Jalapeno. They're supposed to be a very large jalapeno. I really want to use them for doing like jalapeno poppers or like stuff them with cream cheese. The other one I got here is a jalapeno. It has the same flavor as a jalapeno, but without the spice. I thought that'd be good for the kids. And then the red pepper is called a Jaworski. I have no idea if it'll do well here, but it did have a shorter growing season. And it's supposed to be a thin-walled red pepper, which I thought would be really nice to add to salads and when I make my salsa and stuff. So how I start my peppers, or how I'm starting them this year, is I'd like to give them a little bit of a jump start. So I'm starting them, people call this the baggie method or the paper towel method. I'm just using Tupperware just because that is what I have readily available. So I'm just labeling everything. I always make sure I put the date I started. And I'm just going to put a little piece of paper towel in the bottom, sprinkle the seeds on top, and, actually I guess I'm adding water first. Adding water, sprinkling some seeds on top, and just kind of sandwiching the seeds in there. This really does help speed up the germination. And it also enables you to know if your seeds have germinated. You don't have to guess if they are. I don't do this with all plants, but seeds that are a little more tricky to germinate, peppers, I did this with ground cherries. I also did this with celery, but didn't put it on heat mats because I do tend to have some problems with germinating celery for some reason. So yeah, I'm just adding them into the containers, sealing the top. And that's it. I'll just speed up this part here. I just did it with the other 2 varieties. Same thing. Wet the paper towel, add the pepper seeds, and close her up. So last season I invested in an actual seedling heat mat. I'm glad I did. I was using a crock pot, which did work just as well. But this is definitely a little neater and a little more consistent temperature. Just adding them on the heat mat and letting them go. Okay, so today is the 12th, so this has been on the heat mat for 4 days now. I did have some jalapeno already sprout, but this is the giant jalapeno or grande jalapeno. And if you just look, these little tails are the root starting. So I have a 6 tray. I'm just gonna pluck out the 6 with the best roots, and then I am going to leave these containers on here as I pluck them out and just see if I get any further germination, because 4 days for peppers is really nothing. So I'll just pluck them out and put them in this container and continue to wait for them to sprout up out of the soil. Okay, so I did just put the original date that I put these seeds on to sprout. These are the ones with the best roots starting. I'll just cover these up with this dirt. And I will put these back on the heat mat. But once they actually start poking up through the soil, I'm gonna take them off the heat mat. And then there's probably at least another 20 seeds that I'm waiting on. You can see some of them are already starting with the roots. And just every few days, I'm just gonna check on these and pot, every time I have 6, so I'd like to keep the same type in each container of 6. Every time I have 6 of one type, I'll just pot up those for the next week or so. All right, so today is March 23rd. As you can see, almost all the peppers are up. So one really nice advantage of this is I'm able to put 1 seed in each cell, and I'm pretty much guaranteed to get a pepper coming up. It makes it really nice to be able to organize them by type. Sorry it's so dark, I don't have any, the lights aren't on, they're on a timer. And these ones as well. I will say the Jaworski sweet peppers did not have as nice germination. They were probably around 75%, but the jalapeno and the grande jalapeno are like about a 98% germination. And I'm just going to show you a photo I took last year. Last year, I just put the peppers straight into soil on a heat mat, and I'll show you the difference in growth in the same amount of time. So in the same about 2-week period last year, you can see there's just a few peppers starting to crown out of the soil. My very messy potting up station. Good morning. So I thought I'd do an update on my peppers. Today is April 23rd and I'm in Nova Scotia. These were started March 8th in paper towel, the seeds. So as you can see, they're not huge, but this is exactly where I want them to be right now. They're nice and stocky and short, lots of good green growth. There was one I noticed. This one is turning a little yellow though. That's just a feeder leaf. But hopefully that'll be okay. This one's a little curled up, but I think it just needs a little bit of water. So I just put these in these cups. So today is, what did I say? April 23rd. So this is we have probably another 6 weeks before I'm going to put these in the actual garden. I usually say our last frost date is June 1st. But with peppers, I kind of like to wait even an extra week beyond that. And sometimes I'll put them out and even cover them. We still do have cool nights even into June. So these will live in these cups for the next 6 weeks downstairs under my grow lights. Actually, when I put up my other plants, I'll start herding them off as well. So everything's looking pretty good. I ended up with 61 plants. As I was potting, I accidentally topped one of them, which some people say to do. I don't like to chance it because we have such a short growing season here that I'm worried they're not going to recover. But then you get two. I'm trying to look at the one I topped. Oh, here it is back here. Right here. So this was on here and I accidentally topped it. So I have 3 varieties. I have the jalapeno is a not spicy jalapeno. I have Shavarsky is supposed to be a thin-walled red pepper. And the grande jalapeno is supposed to be a large jalapeno that I want to use for stuffing and hopefully smoking. All right, so there is where I'm at in April. I'm going to post this video today. And then when I do my garden tours, starting in June, you'll be seeing these in the garden. All right, have a great day. Happy gardening.